cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. It's black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. No more. Black and white, just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. It's black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. It's black and white.
Hello everybody and welcome to Sunday Drivers MX-5 Club round 13 here at Oran Park. A fantastic little unknown, well slightly unknown circuit that really suits these kinds of racing cars. They're absolutely fantastic and a bit of a difference to what we were at like Laguna Seca a couple of weeks ago. My name is Jack Oliphant and I'm joined actually alongside me this week by a covering Ed May. Ed, are you there?
Yes, I am, Jack, and I'm really looking forward to this Sunday drive. As the MX-5 Cup, it's always given us some excellent racing, hasn't it? Throughout every round. If I'm not commentating, usually I'm watching along with everyone in the YouTube chat. I'm able to see some great stuff, and obviously we've had some exciting championship fights, haven't we? But at the moment, one of the main contenders, Chaz Jacart, isn't able to make it this round, unfortunately.
No, he isn't, which is a bit of a shame, but it means we do have another opportunity to see at maybe what happened last time out and how that's changed the standings. So I'm going to quickly jump you over to the championship standings as it is. Well, last time out, we can see that Jodnin Svetzenov took that race victory. I do remember him taking the race victory at Laguna Seca, but there was a little bit of argy-bargy about it. He seems to have got away with it in the steward's office, which means he took home a full 30 points. Scott Angelo came home in second place. He also took fastest lap, which means he bagged himself 29 points. Stephen Orell was in third with Calicavisto, one of the big championship contenders, came home in fourth. He also got pole position. Joe Keaveney was in fifth with Javi Lopez, Sander Ware, David Guedes, Alvaro Rodriguez and Pedro Maramon Cladera in 10th place. You can see the rest of the drivers and how they sort of sorted themselves out throughout the rest of the evening. Now, we want to know how that impacted the championship. Well, here it is on your screen. The individual championship, of course. Calicavisto still in the lead with 243 points. Sander Borst with 222 points in second place. And Stephen Orell is the only other driver to hit the 200 mark, and he's only just done it as well. He's in third. Chaz Jacart, as Ed has just said, not actually attending today. I don't think he was attending last time out either. So big points dropped for Chaz, which is a bit of a shame. Michael Elliott in the top 5, 171 points as well, with Joseph Keaveney, Sander Ware, Jodnin Svetzenov, Javi Lopez, and Pedro Maramon Cladera also rounding out the top 10 in the championship standings as well. And you can see there's loads of drivers all the way down to 49th place, so much so that to fit them onto one graphic, we can't actually put all their points on, as you can see, from 30th down to 49th. But from what you can see in the graphic, it is very, very close. Calicavisto will be hoping that he's going to extend his lead. And, well, at the moment, I can tell you in practice, he's doing a pretty good job at it. Last thing to go to before we do start focusing on what's going on in the actual race, team championships. After round 12, you can see that iRacing Netherlands with 298 points. They've had an entire team overhaul, but they are here, they're ready to go, and they're very excited about it. One of their drivers, Patrick Alders, did a very good job in the last time out, as well as Thomas Lurkies. So excited to see how the iRacing Netherlands guys get on yet again. SRL, or otherwise known as Simulation Racing League, with 284 points, not that far behind Hispania Racing with 263. Fast Cars Go banging fourth with 241. Spirit 14 Racing in 5th place with 231 points. You can see the rest of the drivers cascading down all the way to 17th position in Forters Racing. So that is how we see all the drivers getting on, and we can now actually start focusing on today's action, because of course these drivers are currently just getting round, putting in some practice times. There's about 19 drivers out there at the moment, and Sander Ware currently sits top of the table in the Spirit 14 machine. And I seem to remember, Ed, obviously you haven't said anything for a while now because I've been wittering on that championship, but Spirit 14, I think you were helping me cover the Sunday drivers at Okayama when these guys first introduced themselves onto the field, and it's a striking looking car.
Yeah, we're there for their season debut, their first race out, and they've carried on with very strong performances, haven't they? Spirit 14, under their fastest on the circuit. This is in practice, though, so plenty of chance for the drivers to improve their times and maybe run a little bit quicker in qualifying when it all starts to count. You never know if drivers have gotten slipstream or not, and it is worth quite a lot in these Mazda exercises, as I'm sure you're very acutely aware of, Jack, after commentating on so many of these MX-5 races in your time as an iRacing commentator. You definitely know that the draft is key in these cars.
It absolutely is, and it's just as key here at Oran Park as well, because we've commentated on it a couple of times, but particularly coming out of this final quarter where Sander Ware is just going through now, really tricky to keep the car balanced and get on the power
Beautiful
nice
line.
and clean, isn't it? And it's a very nice looking track. It's a beautiful line that he has just put in. But there's hell of a lot of opportunity into the first two corners to get an overtake done, isn't there, if you hook that last corner up?
Yeah, it is all about just sending it into the first corner and then just trying to slow it down for the second, get the apex done nicely, power out through, go underneath the bridge, one of the few figure-8 circuits in the world, but not anymore because this track was sadly demolished in 2010. Then you come down into Shell Corner, a tight right-hander that's quite deceptive of how late the apex actually is. And you've got two quick right-handers that come one after the other, or going over the bridge, over the Yokohama Bridge, and then quickly turning it in right, balancing your foot on the loud pedal, getting it nicely tuned in to the next right-hander that comes through, and then it's just a white knuckle ride. Or the elevation change is amazing here at Oran Park. Getting the car turned in nice early, dab of the brakes to get that extra rotation in, keeps the revs high to facilitate that turn in as well. Low revs keeps the car nice and stable, and then into the final corner here. Get a nice later apex if you can. Power down nice and early, which Sandover does. Gets close to the wall, not touching it on exit. And that was a good run of this Oran Park circuit done by Sandover. He's fastest in the session, and that's still a very good lap time. It's 15.77.
Yeah, it was indeed. Calacavisto, he's done nearly double the laps of Sandover, but still can't quite get close enough to his overall best lap time. I will bring up the best lap time put in by Sandover. There we go. 15.2. 15.45 for Calacavisto. It's also a 15.44 for Michael Elliott, who currently separates Sandover and Calacavisto. Last time out winner, Jodnin Svetzenov, currently in 4th place at 15.6. Lurkies as well. Thomas Lurkies. He is in 5th at the moment, but it's quite an important driver to be keeping an eye out on because he's one of the iRacing Netherlands new stars. We have unfortunately lost the Borst brothers, but it doesn't mean that we have any less standard of driver out here having a go at this Sunday Drivers Club. As we said, the iRacing Netherlands team still intact and still on top of the championship order in terms of team championship order anyway, so keep an eye out for him. Alvaro Rodriguez Porter is in 9th place at the moment. Spirit 14 driver. Again, there's plenty of them about, but to be fair, tonight, there's only 3. The other one that we haven't featured so far, Arturo de Villa. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they get on as well. Plenty of rounds this year. We do run a full calendar year of rounds. Normally they're every 2 or 3 weeks apart from each other. That was a huge snap oversteer there on the exit for Alvaro Rodriguez. But it's crucial since there was a few sort of upsets, shall we say, earlier on. I think at Phoenix, I think you were covering that one, Ed, with Jack Werrell. It was a bit of a dramatic race, I heard.
It was very, very dramatic. Yeah, there was definitely a long meeting in the stewards' room after that, which has definitely added to the drama of this championship, both on and off of the circuit. Just having a look, though, at some of the names that I'm very familiar with. Obviously, we've got Pedro Maramon Cladera, the Hispania racing driver that also takes part in another Sunday series broadcast on the sim race as well, the Sunday GT Masters. So good to see that he's able to brush up on his skills behind the wheel of an MX-5 as well as a GT3 car, in addition to actually Timo Pyre, another driver that I recognize, who also takes part in that series. It was quite funny that time at Phoenix Road, where I was commentating on the Sunday GT Masters, and then 5 minutes later I jump into another server and see those very much some of the exact same drivers, this time in MX-5s. It was definitely a weird thing to see, but very glad to note more and more drivers getting involved on our broadcasted series on Sim Racers World.
It's impressive, isn't it, really? The not only the ability to jump from one car to another, which, as you know, as a keen iRacer yourself, Ed, is quite a difficult task in itself, but then to have the stamina to do that all through Sunday. Sunday, for me, is about eating a massive lunch and then feeling tired and sluggish for the rest of the day. It's hard to get yourself up for that sort of thing.
Oh, you see, that's where you and I differ. You see, I'm always on the grind for my sim racing, always looking to try and get as quick as I can. MX-5s, I'm actually quite surprised that I was doing some racing on Monday that you can get a lot of pace in them from after driving a GT3. It's surprising, just I guess the principles of driving, getting the car in, power nice and early translates between both the cars. The only difference is, of course, GT3s have a bit more power, just a bit, bit more downforce and obviously a bit more mechanical grip. But we come to the end of practice, and qualifying is about to get underway. So keep your eyes on Sander Wehr, the number 5 Spirit 14 racing driver who was fastest in practice. Can he repeat that same feat when the times really count in qualifying?
He'll be certainly hoping to, won't he? And it's going to be very important qualifying, but it's in MX-5 racing, it's not as important as one might expect, really, because they pretty much change position and change, well, yeah, exactly that, change position nearly every single corner, don't they? Especially for the first flying laps.
Yeah, it does. So we're going to see how drivers navigate. Maybe as well, Spirit 14 drivers could work together, obviously get a bit of a train of slipstream going and help their lap times come down and down and down as we follow Thomas Lurkins. Lurkis, I
think we're going for. I always pronounce it wrong as soon as I see it from it. I always think it's Lurkis, but I think it's Lurkis. So yeah, we're going to go with that. No one's corrected me yet.
Well, we'll stumble through, and eventually, at one point, if we pronounce it a different way, we'll get it right, or we'll do even better and pronounce it 3 different ways, and all be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's normally the way I tend to go with it. But if I do that, hopefully someone in the YouTube chat, the wonderful YouTube chat, will be able to maybe correct us. There are a number of people sort of watching this. Apologies, there were a little bit of a mix-up with the YouTube streams and everything like that as well. We did plan an event for it to go live, and people were waiting there to watch it. But unfortunately, for some reason, it didn't want to go to that stream, so we had to start a new one, basically. Apologies about that, but hopefully you're all here watching this now anyway. And if you are, please do give a shout out on the YouTube chat. We'd like to hear from you, and we always like to have a bit of interactivity with the chat and us as well. So Thomas Lurkis in well, he doesn't look like an iRacing Netherlands driver right now. He's got a very different livery. It's quite sporting though. It looks like golf trousers, doesn't it? So, some golf trousers from the 1970s or something like that. It's quite funky.
I'm too young to remember golf trousers from the 70s, so
I'm only 25, but I've seen pictures.
I'm 22. I can say that for another 3 days that I'm still 22, so I'll keep my youthfulness going for as long as I can.
Yeah, I'll hope. Happy birthday, anyway. If I should be commentating with you on Thursday, I'll probably say it then instead. But it should be a fun birthday week for you at uni. I know a lot of people would probably rather go back to birthdays at uni. God. It's very fun.
Oh yeah, you've reminded me. I am commentating on Thursday, the day after. That'll be fun. That'll be exciting. But we'll soldier on for now. We'll keep going nice and sober, and that's a bit of a sobering lap time from Michael Ellett. Very quick indeed. Fastest of the bunch so far into the 15s with no slipstream. Good effort from the Simulation Racing League's driver. His teammate Calacavisto has gone 3rd fast, but Scott Angelo, the Australian at a home circuit, doing very well up in 2nd.
Yeah, well, Scott Angelo, he actually purpled Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3 and Sector 5. He didn't purple Sector 4, and that means he's in 2nd place. That's how bad his Sector 4 was. It wasn't exactly bad. He was only 3/10 off, but still, it's quite an amazing statistic to be able to sector 4 out of 5 and not be on pole position. Something that I'm probably sure he won't be wanting to repeat. Sander Wehr moves himself up to 3rd place at 1:16.1, but we know he's just getting warmed up. Michael Ellett's absolutely flying, and I don't mean that in the pole lap time he's put out there so far. He's also flying that he's the furthest driver along in the entire lap. So he's not messing about, is he? He wants to make full use of his 10 minutes. And as he's coming up to the line now, he's had green sectors all the way. Michael Ellett comes across the line.
And he goes, I think, marginally faster by, well, not marginally faster, 4/10 faster. So that is a definite improvement. But Calacavisto, his teammate, dethrones him from provisional pole position. Great lap by the Finnish driver. And now we're going to be looking at Jodnin Svetzenov, who's on a very quick lap time. Personal best, Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. He could be coming around for a very quick lap here as he rounds out the final corner. Untitled Chapter went fastest in the 1st sector as well, but isn't on a flying lap, so I don't think we'll improve. Where does Jodnin go, though? It was 6th fastest, remains 6th fastest. Untitled Chapter comes across the line, and he does not improve. But Sander Wehr does, up into 3rd place now. Definitely the time's getting quicker and quicker as the rubber gets laid down on the track. And Calacavisto is provisionally the fastest driver on the circuit with a 1 minute 15.504. Great stuff. But can Michael Elliott clap back? Can he reply? He's going to come across the line. He's had some very good sector times coming through, but will that translate into a fastest time? Yes, it does. Improves by 0.2 of a second. Calacavisto cannot match it, but look at how consistent he was. Only 4,000 shy of his previous best.
That's quite astonishing, really, isn't it? When you can go 0.004 of a second within 2 laps of each other. But Michael Elliott, purple sector 1, sector 3, sector 4, and sector 5. The only one he didn't purple was sector 2. But this time, that statistic does mean you go on top of the orders. So Michael Elliott on pole, with second being Calacavisto, both SRL drivers. Sander Ware, Spirit 14, is currently in third place, not going quicker on this lap either. Scott Angelo is in full Simtech Racing, and Abinul Abacus in Fast Cars Go Bang, certainly going very quickly at the moment. Atel Chavez, where is he? Atel Chavez coming in here, a new driver. I don't think I've seen him before, although I think, again, for the second lap in a row, it is an invalid lap time. So we have 14 drivers currently on the list. There are 19 in the session. Arturo de Villa, Joseph Keaveney. Oh, that won't help Chavez. Arturo de Villa, Joseph Keaveney, Victor Oliveira, Atel Chavez, and Peter Reed. All drivers that haven't yet set a lap time. But having said that, Joseph Keaveney hasn't even tried yet. This is his first flying lap. He can only go green. What does he come across the line in? Of course, this is pretty much his first flying lap. We'll expect to see better than that from Joseph Keaveney, but it's still a very good time, 1:16.4.
Good stuff getting inside that top 10, 8th fastest at the moment. Sander still out on track, but I don't know if this is an improvement coming through. Instead, might be opting to come into the pits, get a fresh pair of boots on, and go for it in these final few minutes of quali. He'll have to go quick if he wants to do that, though. Michael Elliott and Calacavisto making it Simulation Racing Leagues 1-2, locking out the front row. But can Spirit 14 get any of their drivers up there? Obviously, Sander looking like the most likely contender, but as well, like Alvaro Rodriguez Porter manage. He's shown flashes of putting in good lap times, but can he get it through when it counts? Just going to follow Sander into the first sector. What is the time going to be looking like at the moment? Not too bad for Spirit 14 Racing driver. But it's all about this next part. This is where you can make or break your lap times into these sort of faster corners where it's all about carrying the speed, the momentum through, turning in the apexes that you can't quite see because the terrain dips away at the worst possible moment. You need to just have almost a mind's eye map going around this track, just turn in and pray that your memory's right. If that's where the corner is, that's where the apex is. Use all your muscle memory and just go for broke. Trust in the car and trust in yourself. And that is what Sander will do now into the final corner. Is he going to get a good exit, power out nice and early, get close to the wall? Yes, he does. Almost kissing the wall on the exit, kissing the concrete and coming across the line. Personal best sectors, you can see there the greens. It's enough to improve, but not up onto the front row. As Michael Elliott and Calacavisto come out on their outlaps, they'll be able to come through and set an even faster time, most likely, with fresh rubber, whereas Sander is used those tyres since the start of quali.
He has indeed. So Calacavisto, Michael Elliott back out there. 1 minute to go. Only probably one flying lap in it. A 1 minute 15 lap. Now, I think they get to finish the time that the lap they're on when the timer ticks down to 0, Ed, which is going to be pretty crucial, of course, because a lot of series that sometimes we cover, they don't necessarily get that opportunity. They have to, as soon as the timer hits 0, boom, that's it. The cars get spawned to the grid, and that's what they're stuck with. But I think in this championship, they get to finish it. So a lot of these drivers will have timed that to try and get out there and start their flying lap within the next 30 seconds. Sander is going to be able to achieve that. And actually, we'll go back to focus on him, because as he pitches the rear end into the final corner, he's hit the wall. Big hit by Sander and that's going to really hurt him.
He's gone even faster. Jodnin's pipped him to third place, and Sander out of the final corner. has a huge mistake and loses that lap time. So that is heartbreak for Sander there. Jodnin Svetzenov now third fastest. Kalakavisto not able to improve. Michael Elliott is going to hold on to provisional pole position. And I think he got across the line just in time for another lap, should he want to. But I don't think he needs to. He's going to maybe keep going to cover off Jodnin Svetzenov. But this is looking very good for a Simulation Racing Leagues 1 and 2.
It absolutely is, isn't it? Thomas Lurkis is the only driver in the top 5, apart from Michael Elliott, who's out there at the moment. Kavisto ended up not making the final lap. He was 3 seconds short. Svetsanov ended up finishing his lap bang on the money, ended up in third. Sander Ware hits the wall on exit. Here comes Lurkis. He hits the brakes and he didn't even bother crossing the line. To be fair, he was only green in one sector and the rest of it was down on his time. Patrick Alders and Peter Reed. Peter Reed's a driver I'm probably going to be focusing on here because Patrick Alders has just finished his last fine lap. Pedro Malamon Clodera is still out there. Michael Elliott's still out there, actually, and he's just purple sector 4, so Elliott's actually slightly going quicker. As
you can see him in the background.
You can. He tries to get a little bit of a toe off Peter Reed. Peter Reed comes across the line, puts himself into 11th place. Michael Elliott can only go one direction.
Look at the time, though.
Oh, that is stunning consistency, Ed.
Only a few hundredths shy, in fact, 200ths shy of pole time. So he set 2 laps that are essentially good enough to be pole position times. Much faster than anyone else. So Michael Elliott is in the prime spot to take a race victory from this evening, the 13th round of the Sunday Drivers MX-5 Cup at Oran Park. But can he do it in the race? That's the real thing to wonder about, because like we've seen before, this track, while it might not look like the easiest one to overtake, it does give some excellent racing. And now we come into the start of the race session. And Jack, you can run us through the starting grid of this 13th round.
We can indeed. So Michael Elliott on pole position, joined alongside him on the front row by his teammate Kalle Kavisto and championship leader, no less. Jodnin Svetzenov hoping to repeat what the performance he managed to do at Laguna Seca. He's in 3rd. Sander Ware in 4th place. Thomas Lerke's in 5th. With Scott Angelo in 6th place, Amanola Bacchus in 7th, Joseph Keaveney in 8th, Martin Smith in 9th, Alvaro Rodriguez Porter is in 10th with Peter Reed, and Pedro Malamon Clodera rounds out the top 12. 13th down sees Patrick Alders, Mackenzie Mann, Zene Zagala, Timo Paya, Atel Chavaz, and Victor Oliveira, with Arturo Davila rounding out the grid. A pretty full grid, 19 drivers, not as full as we've seen it before, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sim racing is one of those hobbies where if you can do it, then fantastic, but you know, you can't always commit your entire evening to it. You can't commit to it every single week, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. It gives opportunities for other drivers to jump in, and of course these guys have more drop weeks than ever before now. They had 4, I think they have 6 now, which is a big increase really, so it gives you the opportunity to be able to miss 1 or 2 rounds extra if you need to, because the real life is starting to rotate in the world and everything, and people, as I said, are just have different commitments left, right and centre. But Michael Elliott and Kalle Kavisto, Ed, on pole and 2nd place. You'd be hoping that they'd be working together rather than fighting each other too closely.
Yeah, we are. We're getting to the start of the race, Jack, and I'll let you get us started. But this is going to be a brilliant drive, a brilliant race, isn't it? 2 simulation racing drivers, 1st and 2nd. But keep your eyes on Jodnin Svetzenov. He's going to be hungry to get in the mix as well. Sander, the lights are coming on, Jack. Get ready.
Yeah, lights are coming on, our engine notes rise, and we'll be racing for the first and only time here on the Sunday Drivers Club, and normally they hold the lights for an awful lot longer than that. Michael Elliott was certainly ready, so is Kalle Kavisto, as they hurtle down towards turn 1. Remember, it's a left-hand turn, so Kalle Kavisto could have an opportunity to get up the inside of his teammates if he really wanted to throw it, but he absolutely doesn't. In fact, he's probably more worried about Jodnin Svetzenov against Sander Ware, and Svetzenov gets turned around by Sander Ware. Lurkis goes through. Hopefully everybody else just avoids him. That is Chavez going into the back of him, as Jodnin Svetzenov has to reverse and then get back going again, but absolute calamity for himself and Sander Ware, who was doing so well in practice. A lot of other drivers leaping forward as Joseph Keaveney and Scott Angelo go side by side through the long tight right-hander. I think Keaveney just got the better run there. In fact, it wasn't Scott Angelo, apologies, it was Amanola Bacchus, and he just got the rear end loose as they went over the bridge section. But Michael Elliott and Kalle Gavisto got about a 2-second lead into the first couple of corners there. Thomas Lurkes in third place. You can just see Michael Elliott and Kalle Gavisto in the foreground of your picture now. They were really helped by that collision between Svetzenov and Sander Ware, weren't they, Ed? And it's just held right into their hands. Kalle Gavisto then going up the inside, potentially into T1. He got a really good run out the final corner. He got a good draft assistance as well. It's showing off how it could be so key here. Even though Michael Elliott got the fastest lap of the race, Gavisto at the inside makes Elliott lose his apex. But Elliott just about holds on, but goes wide actually. He goes very wide. He's going to be on the inside for the next flying right-hander. And in fact, there's about 3 right-handers in a row here that Michael Elliott may well be on the inside of. Gavisto did have his nose in front. But there goes Michael Elliott back on through. They're not going to fight each other too hard, these two drivers. It is an individual championship, but equally there is a team championship to be keeping an eye on as well. So they won't want to try and sacrifice any more than they need to, especially as their team championship rival, Thomas Lurkes, is right behind them. iRacing Netherlands, they do not want to concede any more points to that driver than they absolutely have to.
No, they really don't, but this is good stuff for simulation racing leagues. Up at the front, plenty of space to Thomas Lurkes in the background in third place, who might be under pressure soon from Scott Angelo. That could be a battle to watch. The Australian on home turf, looking to have a night to remember, get a podium perhaps. Look at Pedro Marimon Cladera though in the number 11, hooked up right behind the rear bumper of Patrick Alders. iRacing Netherlands driver. You can see now Pedro closing in, going to the inside, but not able to make it because it was covered off very nicely just at the last moment by Alders. Alders actually fancying a move on, who is that? He's going for a move on Alvaro Rodriguez Porter for Spirit 14 Racing. And as he got the move done, he's going to go side by side and actually does take that position. And oh my word, Pedro round the outside gets the move done as well. Great stuff.
Yeah, awesome racing by these drivers. A little bit further down, and Pedro Marimon Cladera qualifying in, I believe it was 8th place. And in fact, no, it wasn't. It was in about 10th or 11th. And he's really catapulted himself up the order. Obviously, it helps when a few drivers hit each other off. But as you can see right now, he's doing a fantastic job at fighting through. And I can't wait to see how he gets on.
Yeah, so Pedro, can he close in? Can he find a way past Patrick Alders? Not quite yet. As Sander, his evening's just gone from bad to worse. We've seen him off the circuit with a lot of damage done to the front of his MX-5. You can see just about the front bumper hanging off. This was him going side by side. Oh, and a bit of contact, or more than just a bit of contact, but the two cars fight for the same bit of track. 2 into 1 just does not go. And I'm trying to think who that was. That potentially Mackenzie Mann in the Simtech Racing silver car. And all of a sudden, when comes back on track, does he contact?
He contacts with Arturo Davila, his teammate of all people. So an unsafe return to the racing line means that Sander Ware, you're right, his race has gone from bad to worse. And we will go back and have a quick
It's not just bad to worse, it's bad to worse. The catastrophic. He's in the pits and probably out the race.
Yeah, absolutely right, actually. I missed the fact he was in the pits. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Oh, as Patrick Alders makes a mistake there. Just coming over the bridge on the right hand just before it. And all of a sudden, Pedro Marimon Cladera says, thank you very much. I'm going to take that, and slots himself up into P6. So good stuff from Pedro, taking a nice opportunistic overtaking maneuver on an unlikely area of the circuit. If we can get a replay of that, because it happened rather quickly.
It did happen rather quickly. I was actually looking for another replay, but I will quickly try and have a look. Here it is, Pedro Marimon Cladera overtaking. You focused on Pedro here. You can't actually see Patrick Alders, but if we just try and click that and then find Patrick Alders, there we go. He clips the inside curve, doesn't he? And that just upsets the car.
I think what happens is he gets on the power a bit too early and lights up the rears, and that drags the car to the right-hand side over the grass.
Yeah, it does now. Martin Smith is very interesting, isn't he? Because Alders has now really lost a lot of momentum. Alders in the more traditional iRacing Netherlands livery, which obviously viewers of the Sunday Drivers Club will be more accustomed to, as well as obviously his teammate Lerkies. But I was actually going to have a quick flit over to the opening exchanges, specifically the Sander Ware and Svetzenov incident. And Ed, I don't know about you, there doesn't look like there's an awful lot of room there, does it? They were on board with Sander Ware. He can see a gap on the inside. Is that a gap that's always going to be closing, or should Svetzenov have given him the room?
He goes for the move quite late, I feel. I don't know if Jodnin really could have anticipated that, because when you get the spot a call from iRacing, he probably would have got the call maybe a few moments before he's committing for the corner now, as Sander Ware has just decided to go for it. They kind of both commit to the inside line at the same point, in my opinion. So that could be a racing incident, but also could be Sander Ware just because he came back and did a bit of a late move.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, like you said. It could be seen from one or two angles. Obviously, we only really saw it from TV camera, plus obviously that on board that we just saw then. But you're right, it's a tricky one. Pedro Manamonclera, I think he's had a bit of a mistake here because he's getting absolutely mugged here.
Oh my
look
word.
at that car. He's running 3 wheels at the back there on the rear axle somehow. I'm not entirely sure how he's managed to figure that one out. He's almost carrying his front right wheel in his passenger seat, which is not something you never want to see. I can't actually see the reason for it. I'll be absolutely honest. Pedro Manamonclera, he hasn't gone off track. It hasn't registered as a crash. So what we're going to see is Rene Zagala and see if this was a crash to do with it. And, he gets turned off the road, doesn't he? But I fear that this was a lot further back. I think that was with another driver. He spins back on.
Yes, not with Pedro Manamonclera involved. So we'll try and find Pedro and figure out what's going on. This is Amunala Bacchus off the road, and there's Pedro still with damage, trying to nurse it back to the pits. But we've got a battle on here. Patrick Alders and Martin Smith. Martin looks to the inside, but isn't able to find the room on the circuit. Patrick Alders covers that off nicely, gets the car stopped in time for turn 2, powers his way out, and is able to hold on just for the moment.
Now this is the only thing. Oh, there we go. So
a word.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the cardinal sin here. I'll go to Ananimal Bacchus. He's had his crash. I'm going to do the cardinal sin here of iRacing broadcasting. I'm going to reverse it. And he's in the pits, and I fear the reason he's in the pits is because it's not going to show it, is it?
We caught the crash, so I'm not sure how we caught that. If we can try and find that bit again, we might be able to slow it down somehow.
Yeah, so we're looking at Pedro here, and look, that's number 28 of, I think, Animal Bacchus. And, yeah, it is Animal, and he's just parked right in the wrong spot, isn't he? He's almost on the racing line. Pedro throws so much speed in to the corner. He's doing exactly what you should do at that corner, running as far wide as you can, and then it opens up the left-hander. But unfortunately, with Animal right there, parked in right the wrong place, he's had a car to hit, and unfortunately, that's exactly what he's done.
Unfortunately, that is going to be 100% on Bacchus for that one. I'm fairly certain he'll be facing the wrath of the stewards, no least the wrath of Pedro Manamonclera after all this has been said and done. Hopefully they keep it nice and civil, but that is definitely going to be gutting for Pedro, who was in a very good point up until then in the race. But there's still plenty of time to go. You can... If you're out on the circuit, you've got your car repaired, you can get something from it yet.
You can indeed, yeah. So Martin Smith and Patrick Alders providing us with the closest action that we've actually got out there on the circuit now. It's actually amazing, really, the gap that the rest of the drivers have got to each other, to be honest. Even Michael Ellett to Calicavisto is just over a second. However, Thomas Lerkies has made just a quick mistake here, and he's been overtaken by Joseph Keevening. Now, like I just said, the closest gap was between Martin Smith and Patrick Alders. These guys were not close at all. So let's see if we can find out exactly what happened. We're looking at Joseph Keeveney here, and he just easily passes Thomas Lurkis. Is that a slowdown, maybe? It's been a while since I've seen a slowdown, to be honest, but or is that maybe a mistake? If we can try and focus on Lurkis, he's just going slow, Ed.
Yeah, he is a bit. I definitely think there must be a slowdown he picked up somewhere, and it is relatively easy to do at this track. Just turn a little bit too early because you can't see the apex. Oh, as Patrick Alders has a big off out of the second corner, and all of a sudden loses out not once, but maybe twice, this time to Mackenzie Mann, but no. But actually, yes, Mackenzie with a great switchback maneuver will then get the inside for the next two corners, the right hand, as if he just keeps a nice tight line, which he does, parks on the apex and drives out to the corner brilliantly. Then he's going to be in a great spot to take that place, and he does. So Mackenzie Mann now up into 8th, taking advantage of Patrick Alders that got it all wrong through turn 2.
Yeah, and the driver behind Patrick Alders at the moment, now on the left-hand side of your timing screen, it will say Victor Oliveira, but that actually, the car behind him is not Victor Oliveira. It's the number 5 of Sander Ware. So the recovering driver, after that earlier incident in the race, is a back marker. They've been lapped. So don't expect that Sander Ware will, 1, put up too much of a fight, and 2, even if he does overtake Patrick Alders, it's not going to mean that much in terms of the entirety of the race. Amanol Bacchus has had another crash, and so is Rene Zagalo, unfortunately. So more incidents happening there as Mackenzie Mann is getting chased by Patrick Alders, and they did close up a little bit thanks to that draft assistance. But it's not the easiest track to make overtakes on, and you really have to be fully committed to the move, especially T1.
Yeah, and now we come once more to this fight. It's 3-way fight. You can see in the kind of number 5 of Sander Ware there, but not really in the actual battle itself. He's down in 14th place, a lap down. He will be able to unlap himself if he's on pace, but no, he's going to be getting anything more out of this race other than 15th unless something happens to those up ahead. This is going to be a very, very exciting fight, though, because Patrick Alders is looking very quick as Sander Ware. Another mistake, uncharacteristic for Spirit 14 racing driver. His evening is just not going the way he planned, but it is going completely to plan for the two drivers up at the front. The Simulation Racing Leagues have kind of gone away with this race. We haven't followed them too much, but number 4 and number 3 drivers are P1 and P2.
Yeah, they're absolutely smashing it, aren't they? I think there's no denying that. Michael Elliott in the front of the field, 0.8 of a second up. But we do. I keep wanting to switch away to have a look at them, but unfortunately, they just every time I do it, it looks like Alders may be close enough to make some kind of lunge. I think I'm probably going to be just about. Oh, there's a big puff of smoke there in the foreground of your shot. Not entirely sure who that is. Maybe it's something to do with Thomas Lurkis, because all of a sudden he's been caught rather substantially by Martin Smith. We'll keep an eye on that. In fact, Martin Smith is only getting closer, to be honest. So I think that was something to do with Thomas Lurkis. I can't see exactly what it would have been. I think it's just maybe. Oh no, he has technically had a crash according to iRacing. Let's have a look at it. This is with the number 14 driver, Jodnin Svetzenov. Oh, he's just had a spin. No contact at all. Does a full rotation. That's the puff of smoke that we saw, Ed. And he just gets back going. But no damage, but not exactly what he was hoping for.
Yeah, so Martin Smith has been in a good fight, though, up into 6th place. But look at Michael Elliott. He's trying to streak away with it, but being kept very honest by Calacavisto. But I think for the moment, these two drivers, they'll be happy with the way it is at the moment of P1 and P2. Good for their championship fight as well. Just coming up on back marker traffic. Hopefully that won't become too much of an issue. That is Bartel Chavez, who is up into 12th place. There's been a lot of action in this early phase of the race, hasn't there? Though plenty of big name drivers involved in incidents early on. Jodnin Svetzenov and Sander Ware into the first corner on the first lap, and then also Pedro Miramon Cladera with about 7 laps or so gone in the race, suffering huge damage. That's effectively taking him out of the fight. But I'll tell you what, up in front, Michael Elliott and Calacavisto still keeping each other very, very close.
They are indeed. Victor Oliveira has disappeared into the pit lane. Not entirely sure why he's got into there. We don't see any... Oh, he's had a big off track. Let's have a look and see what happened to him. I think he's coming through the first corner now. Always very committed. We've seen a couple of drivers make mistakes, and exactly what Victor Oliveira did just then. We saw, I think we saw Chavez do in qualifying. Did he just come on and hit somebody else there, Ed?
I don't know, did he? We're going to have a look at that. He's off.
Oh, no, there was no contact. He just,
no.
Optical illusion almost. But yeah, he's back into the pits as well. So
I was worried there because the last time I commentated on this, there was a lot of stuff like that, and I was hoping we weren't going to see any more of that. Thankfully, that was not the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jack always says if you come off Sunday Drivers MX-5 with a clean car, you haven't done it right. That's exactly the first. When I first started commentating on him with it, that was the first thing he came out with, to be honest. So, yeah, they are used to a bit of door banging here, there, and everywhere. They're used to that contact, but you know, obviously, what you need to do to make a good, clean race and be in the best possible chance of winning is to keep your keep your car nice and clean entirely, isn't it? I.e., exactly what Michael Ellett and Kalle Kavisto are doing. Bit further back here, this is a battle between drivers who have been lapped. Jodnin Svetzenov trying to catch up Pedro Manomon Cladera. Now, there's a battle that you could probably argue should be for the top 5, if not for a podium position. But obviously, as things have happened, they've slipped down the order somewhat. And on starting lap 14 out of the 22, Svetzenov goes for a big lunge on Manomon and gets through as well. So Svetzenov up to 13th place for now.
Well, for now, but as Jodnin Svetzenov, I think he looped it round, or as the rear of the car got very loose. Actually, no, he kept it going, but for me, it looked like he had a bit of a twitch on the exit. He held it firm, though. Good stuff from Jodnin. As we come to, look at that dive down the inside, Reed against Sander. Sander's going to have to fight around the outside. Is he able to do it? Oh, my word, he has done. Great stuff from Sander there. Oh, a little bit of a touch between the two drivers. Sander has the slam on the anchors to get the car nice and stable. Peter Reed backs out of it, doesn't want to pass through, sort of punching his way through. So that battle has normalised itself a little bit. Sander there looking to streak on past now Peter Reed.
I was going to say, I thought Peter Reed was going to be able to just stretch out there, and I thought we were going to be making some kind of Fantastic Four reference there with Reed Richards, but not to be the case. He's ended up in 16th position. Victor Oliveira has come out of the pits, and I was about to say he's very close to overtaking someone, but actually he's very close to hitting someone, unfortunately, as he spins round in the second corner. Maybe a bit of cold tyres, Ed, or something. Maybe too much speed through, not entirely sure, but not the way he wanted to rejoin this race.
Yeah, not the way he was hoping for at all, which is a bit of a shame, because I remember watching...
Turned around.
He is turned around, actually, yeah, and that's the Jodnin Svetzenov just getting into the back of him. So unfortunately, it's another driver's race that has not been going the way he had planned. Victor Oliveira in the wars.
Yeah, this time Svetzenov making contact again at that second corner, but this time he was the driver going up the inside of another one rather than the other way around. And I don't know how much they'll be thrown to the stewards, but put it this way, the stewards are pretty much always busy with Sunday Drivers Club, unfortunately. It's just part and parcel of the gig. But part and
parcel with any series, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, we cover a lot of series, don't we, Ed? And especially MX-5 racing, it does promote close battles, shall we call it.
Oh, yeah, really great stuff that we are often treated to here. Sim Racers World on the Sunday Drivers MX-5 series. Just watching Mackenzie Mann have to defend from Patrick Alders. They will go side by side into the first couple of corners. The inside line going the way of Alders, and it is all his as he takes that place up into 8th.
Yeah, great drive there. Mackenzie Mann being man enough to just try and back out of that one slightly. He didn't want to be messing around with having any contact. I mean, realistically, these drivers, as long as they keep it clean for as long as possible, they should end up in the top 10. They've got a 30-second gap to Rene Zagala, who is currently in 10th place. So although they would like to finish in 8th rather than 9th, I would much rather finish in 8th and 9th than, say, 14th, 15th if they have to go into the pits with damage. So they'll be probably sensible about this. We've only got about 5 or 6 laps left, realistically. It still is Michael Elliott leading Kalle Kavisto, and ironically, throughout the entirety of this race, they're the only 2 drivers that haven't switched position. Thomas Lurkeys did switch positions, but he is actually right bang where he qualified in 5th place. Those 3 are the only drivers that are where they qualified. And to be fair, actually, I said that fact about Michael Elliott and Kalle Kavisto. I think Kalle Kavisto had his nose ahead for about 10 metres, and that is the only time they have swapped places. So those drivers have been basically the class of the field at the moment. But it all came down to that earlier incident, didn't it, between Sander Weir and Svetzenov. Just want to have a look at Sander Weir, obviously how he's recovering. He's currently in 15th place, although Victor Oliveira, just ahead of him, keeps having incidents. So you never know, Sander Weir may well catch him up and overtake him a little bit later on. Amanullah Bacchus has had lots of off-tracks and lots of crashes in the past 5 seconds, roughly. I mean, throughout the entire race, don't get me wrong, but this is his latest escapade off the track, apparently. Amanullah, you said it was you just grip the wheel and go, don't you, through that section, Ed? Unfortunately, it does spit you out if you don't quite get it right.
Yeah, as well, dipping a couple of wheels out onto the grass. As soon as he turns it, he realizes he won't have the grip and then decides to slow it down massively and get out of the way, not causing an incident, which is smart. But look at the 2 Simulation Racing League drivers. They are they've got a big enough gap now where they can start to fight one another. I think that is probably the call, is that they're going to go for it now in these final 4 laps of racing. Michael Elliott up at the front is in the better position. It's not necessarily the easiest track to overtake, but it's one where we have seen plenty of overtaking. So Michael will have to have his work cut out, make sure he gets a good run out of that final corner every single time. Can't afford to make any mistakes because he knows his teammate Kalle Kavisto will be right there to try and take that space back.
Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, hello, sorry, I'm just going to try and switch back. Mackenzie Mann and Patrick Alders are again side by side. The problem is, Mackenzie Mann is flitting in and out of existence quite consistently here. Quite consistently inconsistent. It's very difficult to race a driver who's doing what Mackenzie Mann is doing, but it's internet issues, isn't it, Ed? That's something that you don't want to be racing with, and something you definitely don't want to be racing against.
Yeah, not one that you really want to be thinking about too much is internet connection issues. I've had my fair share of that in my time on iRacing, living between different various student accommodations of varying quality with varying internet capabilities as well. So I definitely can sympathise with Mackenzie Mann's troubles at the moment, but hopefully that holds firm up until the end of the race. You can see just in the background as well a watermelon car of Victor Oliveira. The fast cars go bang in the background. Shame that his race has not been going the way he'd planned, because I remember commentating on his podium race at Phoenix Road, and it's a shame that we haven't seen him grace that space too many other times. Who's that off the circuit? That's Rodriguez, and that's positions gained for Alders and Mann as a result. What on earth happened to Alvaro Rodriguez Porter?
Is this just an overcommitment into T2? He sends through T1, okay. Oh, he just doesn't stop the car, does he? It is absolutely... Well, he needed to stop it by about half as much again if he was to cut that speed off and be able to turn into the circuit there, but he just didn't get it.
Yeah, it's a definite shame for Alvaro. Just takes too much and kind of breaks too late as well. A deadly combination that has seen him off the circuit and losing those 2 places. Up at front, Michael Elliott leads the way. Kalle Kavisto right there though in second place, the number 3 car, trying to take P1. There aren't that many more laps to go. When they come across the line, we'll only have 2 more turns of the Oran Park circuit before either one of them is going to be crowned race victor. There's still stuff going on in the background. I can see positions changing on the left-hand side. I think
That's mainly actually Mackenzie Mann flitting in and out of existence, playing havoc with that timing tower, unfortunately. So it does look like there's loads of positions changing, but it's actually just a little bit of a lag. I am trying to keep an eye on the timing tower, don't worry. Ironically, Mackenzie Mann and Patrick Alders are, again, very close to each other, but only as close as Michael Ellett and Calicavisto are. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the front two for now.
Yes, we are. Michael Ellett, he just looks so strong coming through this final corner. You can see just dips a wheel onto the grass, but powers out nicely. Calicavisto is close, but not really enough to take advantage into the first couple of corners. We're going to go on board for a little while with the Finnish driver into the first corner just to see him send it in. And basically, as soon as you get onto the apex of turn 1, you brake for turn 2. You can just see that he gets a nice job through, but so does Michael Ellett, who's just really, really strong at this track. Doesn't seem to be likely to put a foot wrong. Gets the apex hooked up nicely as well up in front. You can really see the lines being taken by both these drivers here, and just how much confidence the pair of them have at this track. Michael Ellett carrying so much speed into the corners, but absolute brilliance of him able to hook up the apex every time is allowing him to stay in front.
It is quite incredible, actually, isn't it? I mean, you can tell that these drivers practice together because their lines are essentially identical. The way they handle the car is slightly differently. I'd say Michael Ellett, obviously we're not on board with him, so it's a little bit of a presumption, but it looks like Michael Ellett has a little bit more of a looser back end, a little bit more of an aggressive driving style than Calicavisto. He's keen to rotate the back end and then power on to keep it in a straight line, whereas Cavisto looks to be a little bit smoother, maybe a little bit more of an aero style driving, whereas Ellett is sort of very much it seems to be very sort of instinctive and almost sort of low downforce and just raw mechanical grip is how you drive these MX-5s, obviously, and maybe that's why Ellett is still in the lead. But equally, Ed, you can probably argue that they're both working fantastically well because they are both the class of the field today.
Yeah, Calicavisto with a nice ice-cool drive. Doesn't need to slide out the rear if he doesn't have to. He's doing very well himself. Thank you very much, with a P2 finish on the cards. Essentially a P1 if there's any mistakes going through from Michael Ellett, but with the white flag being waved, it doesn't look likely. Michael Ellett has led every single lap, put it on pole, and he's going to come through this final sector now to get a great race victory in the books here at Oran Park. Just a few more corners to go, and number 4 will be P1 race victor this evening.
Yeah, unless a backmarker gets in the way, because you've given it now. You've given the commentator's curse out there. Hopefully, the driver does get out of the way.
Countryman of Calicavisto.
Exactly. No. How much of an effort will he put in? Absolutely none. Well done to the both of them. Sim Racing Leagues take number 1 and 2, Michael Ellett and Calicavisto. If anything, Calicavisto extends his championship lead, realistically, from all his other main rivals, which is a really good showing from him. Scott Angelo comes across the line to take podium position, and well, the last podium position. Joseph Keaveney in 4th place, with Thomas Lurkes, who had a bit of an up and down race. Obviously, he took advantage of some drivers spinning off. He got himself into 3rd, and then had a few incidents himself, sort of unprovoked from any other driver. He ends up in 5th. Martin Smith comes across the line in 6th place. And then Patrick Alders and Mackenzie Mann finish off a race-long battle in 7th, and then Mann coming home in 8th. 9th and 10th will be Alvaro Rodriguez Porter, and 10th place was Rene Zagala. We'll be able to bring you the rest of the drivers as they flow across the line. Pretty much all of them have done it now, actually, apart from Pedro Malamont Cladera, who's about to go cross-countrying, maybe. It's a bit of an unauthentic line there, Ed, but he's enjoyed himself at least.
Yeah, he's definitely having fun going backwards across the line. Is Pedro Malamont Cladera. Good to see that he's able to get some joy out of an evening where things just haven't really gone his way. Just like we saw it taken out with a collision between himself and Bacchus on the 7th lap. But that was still a very fun evening's racing, and one that has seen Michael Ellett take the race victory ahead of teammate Simulation Racing Leagues 1, 2, Calicavisto, making up P2, walking out 1st and 2nd. Scott Angelo, I was saying the Australian would be looking to get something good from his one of his home races here. The Syntec Racing driver definitely delivered with a third place finish on the podium. Great stuff from the Australian. Joseph Keaveney, Syntec Racing silver, up onto fourth place. Great stuff from the Brit. And then we come to a row of Netherlands drivers. iRacing Netherlands, Thomas Lurkins in fifth, ahead of Martin Smit for 2G Parts and Equipment Racing. And then the other iRacing Netherlands driver, Patrick Alders, finishing in seventh place, just ahead of Mackenzie Mann in Simtech Racing silver. Alvaro Rodriguez Porter for Spirit 14 Racing, last of the drivers to finish on the lead lap. Such was the dominance of Michael Elton Calic Cavisto, finishing 44 seconds back in ninth place. 10th place going to Rene Zegelaar, iRacing Netherlands. Jodnin Svetzenov, after the incident, into the second corner on the first lap, comes back through to finish in 11th. Good haul of points scored there. Ahead of Victor Oliveira, standing there in 13th. Not the evening he was hoping for, but still getting something from it. Untitled Chavez in 14th, ahead of Arturo de Vila. Pedro Marimon Cladera in 16th. Timo Player 17th. Peter Reed in 18th place. And then Amanala Bacchus, who rounds out the field in 19th place, Jack. But that was a brilliant evening's racing. Oran Park never disappoints, and we've had a great performance from all those drivers up in front. And I'll tell you what, Jack, you can have a word with our race victor now, because I can see Michael Ellett is getting ready in the interview waiting room.
Yeah, indeed we can. So if we just drag in Michael Ellett, there we go. Michael, congratulations on the race victory. It almost looked fairly simple and fairly quiet for you out there today. How was it from your perspective, though?
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's a little bit speechless, to be honest. I've been waiting for this for probably the last 2 years. And last season I was actually on pole at Oran Park as well. And I binned it through a mistake of my own, so it was quite nice to almost get one back tonight. But yeah, absolutely delighted. It wasn't easy by any chance. I mean, Calais kept me honest throughout the whole race. I don't think the gap got bigger than 1 second. And then I kept on making silly mistakes here and there. But yeah, absolutely delighted.
Forgive me, because I don't have the stats in front of me, because the way you're speaking, is this one of your first ever victories in Sunday Drivers Club?
It is. It's my first victory in league racing altogether. So
wow,
so
honestly, that surprises me, Michael, because you drove that, from our perspective, you drove that pretty bang on. I thought it was something that you did every week, sort of thing. I mean, I know we hadn't seen you on the top step for Sunday Drivers this year, but I thought that was a fantastic drive from you. Very composed. You absorbed the pressure from Calla, and which is hard to do because he's obviously a championship leader. So congratulations.
No, thanks, man. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Look, I think it helps that I absolutely adore Oran Park. I think it's a fantastic circuit, and it's really such a shame it doesn't exist in real life anymore. And also the MX-5 Oran Park combination is pretty much, in my opinion, a match made in heaven.
It absolutely is. I mean, yeah, it is a shame that the track doesn't exist in real life, but at least we can enjoy it here on iRacing for as long as it stays on the package. And you're absolutely right. I think the MX-5, it's a lot better suited around here than it is, say, Laguna Seca or Silverstone or any of the sort of massive circuits. It really does suit it very well. With this momentum then that you've picked up now, are you hoping to carry that on? Because we have a bit of a wait, don't we? We have about 3 weeks until we can get in again. I bet after that win, you're hoping that it's going to be, 2 days before you can try and get another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, 3 weeks is always quite a long wait. But yeah, I'm sure it will definitely be worth the wait.
Absolutely. Do you have any idea where we're actually heading off to? Because we don't get told until a few days before, until the thumbnails come through. So do you have any idea where the calendar's taking us?
I stand under correction, but I think it might be Lime Rock Park Chicanes, which is quite a tricky circuit as well. But yeah, also a popular fixture nevertheless.
Yeah, it's one of the main sort of iRacing MX-5 category tracks, that isn't it? Lime Rock Park, and it's similar to Oran Park, but a little bit less, I'd say, a bit shorter, isn't it? But hopefully you'll enjoy it there as well, and maybe we can have a chat to you again next week. Michael Elliott, congratulations on the race victory. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks to Some Races World TV. The broadcasts are always world class. Thanks to Sander Ware, for putting on this fantastic league, and a massive shout out to my teammate Kalle. It was awesome to get a 1-2 for the team, and I think it's done both of our championship hopes, the World of Wonders as well as the team's championship. And then just a shout out to all the guys in the Sunday Drivers, and then also my parents who stay up late for these races, and then to my beautiful girlfriend as well there.
Well, hopefully they're all up watching this and enjoying your race victory as well, Michael. Thank you very much for jumping in with us and having a chat. Congratulations on the race victory. Hopefully we'll be speaking to you next time at Lime Rock for another podium.
Likewise. Thanks, Jack.
And Ed, that was Michael Elliott coming in to have a quick chat with us. Now, I believe if you would be so kind and to do the honours to have a chat to second place man and teammate of the race winner, Michael Elliott, Kalle Kavisto.
Yes, tervetuloa, Kalle. Welcome to the commentary box.
Yes.
That was a great race from you. You just didn't quite get the edge, but I'm sure you're going to be happy with the Simulation Racing Leagues 1-2.
I'm very happy. I think this is our first 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, this was also first win for Michael, so massive congratulations to him.
Yes, it was. It was a very good drive from the pair of you. And of course, as championship leader, a second place when quite a lot of the big hitters suffered this evening. That's going to do your championship a world of good. Is that going to be good news for you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, this was pretty much okay, I said to my friend before the race that when I started the season, my goal was always to get within the top 5. So I readjust my goals for this race, and from now on, everything else other than win is a little bit disappointment, but still I'll take it.
That's a great attitude to have, though. Anything other than a win is not good enough. That's how you win championships, mate. So congratulations on your second place. Of course, you're not going to be happy with it, but there's plenty of time for you to come back in Oliphant Park. Is that a track that you think you might have the edge over your teammate?
Yeah. Last season I didn't have a very good race there, so hopefully this time it will go better.
I'll try to remember. Actually, I think that was my first time commentating on Sunday Drivers was at Oliphant Park. I think that was when Chaz Draycott took his first race as well, and
I spun during the first corner, and that was pretty much it.
I didn't want to mention that, but I think I remember seeing a guy like yours spin around. But anyway, hopefully you can do a little bit better than that, and hopefully, because you have come on leaps and bounds, challenge for that race victory. And I mean, your season's going well. I wouldn't count yourself out. Anyway, Kalle, before we bid you a good
sorry, yeah.
Well, no worries, mate. Is there anybody you would like to thank on the broadcast?
Yeah, I want to thank all the audience and you guys commentating and all the drivers, and my teammate Michael Elliott. It was very nice driving from both of us, and we finally get it.
No problem, Kalle. Good to have a chat with you. Congratulations on your P2. We'll look forward to seeing you in a week's time at Oliphant Park.
Yes, thank you. See you later. Bye.
Kiitos, Kalle. Kiitos. Kalle Kavisto exits the commentary box, and that was a great drive from him up into second place, extending his lead in the championship. But now we can actually, Jack. You know what? I'll let you have this one. Have a word with Scott Angelo for Simtech Racing, who came home for a great P3 finish.
Yeah, Scott, how you doing? I'm sure you'll be very pleased with third place. I'll be honest, we didn't see much of you in that race. You seem to be in a bit of a no man's land once you get into third place. What was it like from your perspective?
Like that, no man's land. A couple of mistakes in front of me just got me in the position. Really wasn't anything spectacular. Wasn't much of a fight, but the boys on turn 1 there certainly helped out. And then the mistake. Well, it was number 60. He made a little mistake there on one of the treacherous places, and I managed to get through. So.
Yeah, number 60, Thomas Lurkey, is obviously one of these new iRacing Netherlands drivers. You must be pretty pleased, though. I mean, I think that's one of your one of your podium positions for this year. I don't remember seeing you too many times on the podium. So you must, however they come, they still taste as sweet.
Well, I was always loved this league, and the boys put on a great race, and it's I don't always get to compete in it, and I it was great when I do, so it was always a lot of fun. But the boys out front, the SRL boys and Calais and Michael, they were too fast, way too fast today.
Well, you never know. You might have another chance in 3 weeks' time to try and catch up to the back of them, but it was still an excellent race from yourself, even if we didn't unfortunately see much of it. Apologies about that. If you do come and watch this back, you may be slightly disappointed with your camera time, but equally, I'm sure you can appreciate it was very exciting up at the front, and hopefully you'll enjoy that racing. Scott, before we let you go and enjoy that P3, is there anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
You guys, of course, and Sim Races World TV, and Sandy. He puts a lot of effort goes into it, and the boys in the groups, awesome racing and good fun. So, thanks to all of them.
Thank you very much for giving us a shout out, and obviously we echo your sentiments about Sander. He's our correspondent for the league as well, and does a brilliant job at everything we see. So very excited to see what happens next time for Sunday Drivers Club. Scott, thank you very much for coming in for a chat, and we'll speak to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Scott Angelo coming in for a chat, and all 3 of our drivers on the podium coming in for a nice old chin wag there, Ed, right at the end of the stream. But I think it's about that time we probably see out the stream. So is there any sort of closing thoughts, maybe going from Oran Park to Lime Rock? It's a similar track. Could we see SRL, again, performing well?
We could do, yeah. It's going to be intriguing to see how it goes. Is it Lime Rock next? 'Cause I'm seeing that it's Oliphant Park in a week's time. Maybe my info's wrong.
Well, yours might be right. To be fair, we normally have 3-week gaps, so I don't think it'd be next week. So I'm not entirely sure what you're seeing that from. But you could well be right. To be fair, it might well be Alton.
I might be being a bit loopy. I'll see what's going on. But anyway, no matter where it is, that Sunday Drivers is going to be providing some excellent racing, isn't it? Both those tracks, Oliphant Park or Lime Rock, will give us some great action. I'm going to be sad if I'm not in the commentary box, but I'm sure the Jack Squadron, the Jack Attack, both you, Jack, and Jack Werrell will be able to talk everyone through the action and what action there will be.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about that time we see off the broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning in, liking, subscribing, or just watching quietly in the background. It's been an absolute pleasure being your hosts this evening. I'm sure Ed May would echo the sentiment. We're going to definitely be back in a couple of weeks' time for Sunday Drivers Club MX-5, wherever we are in the world, whether it's Alton Park or Lime Rock Park. They are quite different. But we'll see where it is anyway. I'm sure we'll be here live, bringing the action to you then. If you do want to see that, then please do subscribe to wherever you're watching this from, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or wherever it is, because we'll be back for more action. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Good night.